Hello everyone, this is Chris and welcome back to another seed showcase. And if you've seen any of my other types of seed showcases, you might know that I am a serious fan of the Savannah Plateau biome. And this one in particular spawns in right next to spawn. And if that doesn't give you an idea of just like how many other types of things actually are in the seed, which by the way, there is actually a significant amount of unique and different types of things not too incredibly far from spawn. Yeah, if that doesn't give you an inkling as to what the seed is, then I don't know what will. And we could thank Jarno Vernonen for sending in the seed a little while ago. Yeah, this is basically their comment they sent in a little while ago saying they found a pretty epic seed. And yeah, in case you want to know what the seed is, it is Phantoms Are Not That Bad, which I kind of have to disagree with you, but I'll have to make an exception because the seed actually is very good because, yeah, that's where you spawn in, this little pillar right here. And you have basically about a 50 or so block journey to a village right here. And this village is lucky enough to spawn in with a blacksmith. So this is some easy free loot you can get straight from the start. Because, you know, you just head over here, you get your loot, and you get some randomly generated loot right here. And because you're in an area where basically logic is thrown out the window, you kind of get situations like these where you sort of get lava and water just sitting right next to each other. It's kind of a strange little novelty. But there's much more than just novelties inside this massive area, because just down here, right where this water connects to the mountain, it kind of just gives this sort of immersion type feel, kind of like you remember those watery caves you saw in the Caves and Cliffs update? Yeah, this gives me just the feeling of being inside of one of them. So even though we don't have the update quite yet, you still get some of that feeling you get, I guess, around in this area. And there's also plenty of just illogical type generation around the place, such as this area where an entire section of the mountain is just floating above nothing. If you saw this in real life, it would basically collapse in an instant, but because we are inside of a Minecraft, that means you get this crazy type of huge and dark abyss just underneath the mountains. Moving away from the mountains, but not exactly too far, we will eventually come across another type of village, and this one is a desert village. I mean, this one unfortunately doesn't have a blacksmith or anything, but you still get the desert villages, you still get some type of loot, even though it's not necessarily as good as blacksmiths, you still get some type of a relatively decent loot. And if you want more village variants, then I'd recommend you head out over to these coordinates, not just because you get the village, the villagers and stuff, but also because you get yourself a rune portal, basically connected inside of the village. And this one is very strange because it has a sort of top of a tree, so it's kind of a ruined tree type thing, I guess. I mean, you could call it that if you want, but yeah, still different types of villages, rune portal with some loot there, and yeah, all sorts of stuff. So having all these villages and all this sorts of stuff is nice and all, it's fantastic, but do you know what beats out them over everything? Having not one, but two desert wells basically right next to each other. Oh, having two right next to each other isn't the good thing. No. The good thing is that you can have twice as much fun with TNT. TNT, come on. There we go. Didn't light for a minute, but there we go. You can have twice as much fun with TNT. This is what you get for existing desert well. You should be ashamed of yourself. So if you want to do the same thing I just did, where you blow up a few desert wells with TNT, then I'd recommend you head your way over to these coordinates right here, because there is a desert temple intertwining with a little bit of mountain biome. I'm sure whenever these mountains get updated, it's going to look a little bit different, but yeah, it's still kind of weird to see it. And obviously you get a whole lot of TNT down here. You get 9 blocks right down here. Oh, and obviously you get the loot and all that sorts of stuff down here, but you know, the TNT, that's where it's at. That's where the real fun comes in. And if we head our way this way past the current mountains, then we will eventually, after about 1,000 or so blocks, come across something which I don't think too many people come across, unless you're extremely lucky or you have an extreme amount of time. And on your way to this rare thing, you will come across a birch forest, and inside the birch forest, you'll find another rune portal with even more loot and even more things like that. And out of all the rune portals to build another portal to, I think this one is probably the last one you'd want to build yourself a portal into, because if you do that, this is the type of spawn you'll get yourself into. I mean, it's kind of unique finding some of these warp vines and stuff, but other than that, you're just stuck inside of another cave. So I'd rather recommend just taking the loot and moving on. Heading your way this way, about 100 or 2 blocks from that rune portal, you'll find yourself another village with a blacksmith right here. So yeah, blacksmiths could, like I said, generate with some randomly generated loot, and you could get some saplings, which aren't so great, but you could also get something amazing, kind of like diamonds. And the blacksmith seems to not like that I'm poking around his chest, so we should probably move on to the rare thing I've been building up, the big thing which not many people see, which is this thing right here, a woodland mansion. And like I said, you always have a chance of finding one of these types of places, but the odds are so astronomically low that you would never commonly find one of these. But yeah, there's one just right here, just about 1,000 blocks from spawn, and it even has this type of special room, which, in case you don't know, inside of this single lava pit right here is actually a diamond block. Not exactly sure if it's random or not, but I think it does spawn in every single one. So you will find yourself this room with a diamond block just sitting right up here. But if you're not really up to take on the challenge of the woodland mansion, then what I'd recommend you do is you head your way over to your 5th village? I think it's your 5th village, but regardless of what village it is, this one is especially unique because the majority of this village spawns inside of a swamp, which means, yeah, the majority of the villages you will find inside here are swamp villages. And this one is also lucky enough to spawn in a blacksmith. So a blacksmith has a random chance to get a lot of obsidian, but you also get some diamonds, some iron stuff, and yeah, all sorts of stuff like that. And having all this sorts of stuff inside one area, the Spruce Village, inside a swamp, and other things like that is already rare enough, but the rareness continues, because if we dig our way down right here, and I'm sure you know where we're going with this, yeah, if we dig our way down far enough, we will eventually come across the Stronghold with the End Portal, with also Two Eyes of Ender. I mean, Two Eyes of Ender, it's not the rarest thing we have found in the world, but still, it's much better than finding a completely empty one. And yeah, for the most part, that's pretty much every noteworthy thing I found on this seed. What did you think of this seed? Do you like the fact that there is so many different types of things, not incredibly far from the spawn? Are there things you don't like on the seed? Are there things you really do like on the seed? Whatever you think, let me know down below in the comments. But other than that, that's pretty much all I have for you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.